with individual devices, I'm a big believer that when you look at these devices, it has to kind of appeal as much to the heart as it does the head. And maybe that's just from spending all day looking at consumer deals. You know, we're investors in Pinkberry and Potbelly and Cranium, in addition to many tech companies. And, you know, I have 2 Nests at my house, and I know the brand promises it saves me a bunch of money, but I actually think, and it's true of most people I know that have bought Nests when I ask them, that they just use that as an excuse to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars replacing their thermostat, which kind of works. And in reality, I've never spent more money in my life on my heating and my cooling bill because, you know, before I used to open the window when it was 2 degrees off, and now that thing's going on and off like it's nobody's business. But I still think it's really cool every time I walk up to it and it flashes, and when someone asks me what that thing is. And in a lot of ways, I bought it because it's a cool gadget as well. It's got some utility. Now, there's definitely use cases like, you know, when I'm not home, coming back from a trip, I can turn it on and it warms up my house a little before I get there. And so when I'm looking at these different devices, I'm definitely looking for something that's got a magical experience and solves a problem, but also something that's got a bit of that object of desire. And I think that's really important. It makes me feel like I'm current, it makes me feel like I'm up to date and I have cool stuff. And that's one of the reasons that I think August really resonated. I think that there's no question that the Jetsons House is going to exist. We've had key fobs in our cars for years and years, and every time you walk in with a bag of groceries or you have to track down a friend of your kids or somebody you're renting out your house to and make the key exchange, and then you count how many keys are out in the wild, none of it makes sense in the distant future. But to date, with all the competition in the lock space, it's been such a letdown, and it's something where there's no margin for error. And that's another belief I have, is that the margin for error, as people are moving things like connected devices closer and closer to their core needs, like locks or like this Nest fiasco when houses were freezing for a couple days because the firmware didn't push the right way. The margin for error is much, much lower. You know, locking somebody into their house when you have a fire, or locking somebody out of their house when they need to get home, or unlocking the door when a thief comes by, are all fatal problems. Unlike, you know, maybe if your Angry Birds doesn't work for a day, which just feels pretty bad, by the way, but it's not in the same league. And I think you're starting to see much more of these. So I think that one of the things I was saying about the lock space is it's lots of competition, but nobody's delivered that magical experience. In reality, a lot of them, the form factor and the industrial design, doesn't look like something that somebody would be proud to have in their house, and certainly not something that would instigate somebody walking and go, wow, I want that, what is that? So I think combining the industrial design side, appealing to the heart, and having a magical experience, not just in locks, but in other connected devices, is something that, you know, is kind of core to our thesis.